So here you have basically listed all your systems that you have. In this case, I only have one system that I can edit by clicking on this button. And here you have all the details that you can actually adjust on that system. For example, you have the name that your system has when it appears in a list, for example in the app. You can edit that, and you also can edit this image here. This is also appearing in the app as it is described here below this image. You can also click this button to change it, of course. And down here on the details, you also have several things that you can change for the app appearance. It's basically really only the app appearance. You have the coordinates, you have the opening times, address, Facebook, telephone, email, etc. This thing here you cannot change. It's basically showing that your system is showing, or if it was a private system, you tell us that you don't want to have this listed, and then this button would be clicked and it would be showing only anonymously. This image here shows on your menu, on your front wall. You can put your logo here like Frank did, or you can do other stuff like advertising, whatever you want. It's totally up to you. You can remove it also totally. Then there's nothing. Whatever seems to be suitable for you. Here we have a setting that actually switches your system in a free mode when it's clicked like this, or it switches it in a kind of blocked mode when it's deselected. In that mode, it means that somebody cannot activate the system by itself when he's using the app, meaning he cannot walk into the court and activate it at all. That's not possible. So this thing here needs to be off in order to have it kind of locked. Yeah, you need to then activate it only through the court admin, and then it's actually accessible. Whenever you do changes here, also when deselecting this, click the save button, because otherwise your changes won't be in effect and would get lost. How it's working: I will use the session timer now for the ease of use, and I would start a session by clicking on this. Then actually the menu comes up on the court, and the court is free to be used by somebody. You can also restart that thing by clicking on this. You can also set a minimum length that this thing should be, a session length actually, that this thing should be running. The default user are provided by us also, and they are linked to your systems. And whenever somebody starts a session by playing on your court using the menu very directly without the app, that default user account is used and all the data is recorded on that account. We will come later to what you can do with that account. So I'm stopping the session now. What I can also do is like entering a number that this of minutes that this session should be running. So now it will be limited to 1 minute and automatically stop. Of course, 1 minute is not a very reasonable time, but maybe like 60 minutes or whatever your sessions usually take. Then you can automatically lock the system again after having it started for 60 minutes if somebody books like an hour or something on your court. Here you can also start and stop a session, and right now you see we are on the screensaver. Now when we start a session, it automatically switches on the menu and the court is now free for people to play. And once you stop it again, it's again locked as the screensaver comes up and doesn't have a menu to access it. So the same thing happens, for example, if you press standby, your system will lock down to standby and the session is automatically stopped at that point. And if you would access tournament squash to directly make it accessible to people also a session is started. Now let's have a look at this section here. This one is used to adjust certain things around automatic updates. We provide from time to time updates for your system in the code, which then would be happening at this time that is entered here. You can go here and select different times, hours, minutes, AM, PM. We suggest to do this at some point where the system is never in use, for example at 2 o'clock in the night. And this will then be the time approximately when an automatic update would happen whenever it is available. And if there is an update available, it will show up in your code. I will now quickly enter that. Also, it will show up here, and you see always the latest update in here, showing you that it was done, when it was successful, and it shows the version number and actually when that thing happened to be updated. And yeah, approximately what time it will take is also shown in this box. This checkbox here means that you opt in for beta test CC updates, meaning you will get the updates the earliest. Also, there's a little bit of risk to it if you get those very early, but you will also be in favor of those changes even before it's released. So it depends on you whether you want to do that. You can revert it any time. As always, if you revert it, please remember to press the save button, or you check it whenever you change the settings here. You need to press the save button like this. All right. So now we have a new update inserted. It says here pending update for Sportinsel Taufkirchen. You would also see this in this list, that there's a pending update. And you see it now if you open this, that you have here trigger manual update, delete manual update, so you can even skip this thing, but however this is not recommended at all. And you have an override update time, where you can specify a certain time or date in the near future where you want to actually schedule this update to be executed. However, keep in mind that this may be related to certain games and other applications in order to work. So it shouldn't be too far in the future, but if you would have, for example, the next day's certain events in your code where you don't want to have any additional risk added to your system, then please choose a date here which is further in the future, so you don't have this risk on your code during your event.